Hey guys, we got a full moon in Virgo going on today. Themes being presented generally by this full moon. Number one, it is showing us our progress, sort of showing us our harvest, the things that we've been growing, creating, cultivating, and also our own internal process of growth. This is going to be coming on display for us probably over this next couple of weeks. There are also a lot of themes regarding taking back power that are coming through with this full moon today. And also, it is going to be helping us to release ourselves from some illusions of the past that have been going on, and it could have us questioning the practicality of our dreams and what we are trying to bring into this reality at this point in time. So let's jump into the energetics for this full moon that we have going on and talk about how all this is playing out for us today and over the next 2 weeks, because this is full moon energy and it will be unfolding over the course of the next couple of weeks as we head towards our new moon in Aries and this new astrological year. So let's go. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Here we are with another full moon. My name is Aubrey, and this is my report for the full moon and Virgo energetics that are going on today, actually late last night, early this morning, depending on where you are in the world. This is when this full moon came to its exact activation point, 27 degrees and 40 minutes of Pisces and Virgo, the exact degree placement for this full moon. But I want to tell you guys up front, I look at the Sabian symbols alongside the aspects when I read astrology. The Sabian symbols are a group of symbols that describe each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. Whenever there's a planet at a specific point making an aspect, we can look to the Sabian symbol, read the symbol, and it just gives us some additional information about what is going on with this aspect at this time, with the planet at such and such degree in the context of this grand unfolding astrological story, astrological drama that is constantly and perpetually carrying us through time and space, and right now is carrying us on a very fast-paced trajectory into the age of Aquarius. So as an astrologer, I'm always looking at and referencing the Sabian symbols along with my work. And as a result of that, you guys, when I am reading the degree placements for this chart of this full moon today, or any chart when I'm doing my dailies, I am looking at the degree rounded up. Because when we read Sabian symbols, we round up a degree, and that is really because energy moves in waves. And so it's like by the time that any specific degree is being discharged, for example, today, the full moon at 27 degrees, 40 minutes, the energy is really already picking up on the incoming wave of energy and starting to express what is coming in. And the current degree, that 27 degrees, is really waning out and dissipating. So when we read the Sabian symbol, we read the incoming energetic instead of what is starting to fade away and leave the energetic imprint. Okay, so I am looking at, for this chart today, even though the full moon is technically occurring at 27 degrees and 40 minutes of Pisces and Virgo, I am looking at 28 degrees Pisces and Virgo as I'm reading the energetic state. And that goes for every other planet as well. I'm rounding up a degree because I'm reading the Sabian symbols. So that being said, let's talk about the chart. Let's talk about all the energy that we have going on. So just out of the gate, just to lay some foundations, we're in full moon energy. This is the full exposure, the culmination point of what we have been energetically growing since the new moon that happened in Pisces 2 weeks ago. The new moon is the seed planting time where we set our intentions, our wishes, our visualizations, our manifestations, what we want to grow and unfold over the course of the month. And when we get to the full moon, this is really where we're gaining a very clear picture of the things that have been unfolding and manifesting and growing over the course of whatever new moon cycle that we happen to be in. And so this energy of sort of seeing the progress of the growth of things in sort of a very illuminated way is always present when we're at a full moon. But this full moon, it seems to be a little bit more emphasized, and that's for a couple of reasons. For one, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, in the sign of Pisces in a loose opposition and conjunction to this full moon. And Jupiter grows, blows up, expands, supersizes everything, and talks about a lot of times showing us our growth or the path of growth, just themes of growth in general. So there's that Jupiter component to it, but also we have the degree of the sun today. If you watched my video yesterday, you saw this and you already know this, but the degree 28 Pisces that I'm looking for in terms of the Sabian symbol where this aspect is occurring today is a fertile garden under the full moon reveals a variety of full-grown vegetables. So we're talking about a full moon that is in opposition to Jupiter, loose opposition, but this is also occurring in the sign of Virgo, which just is the sign of the harvest. Virgo refines things. It brings things to their fullest potential so that there can be some type of value extracted out of them. It oversees a process of growth and brings it to that culmination point and then harvests the value that was originally put in there in the form of energy, but the abundance that comes from that. That is what the Virgo, one aspect of what the Virgo energy and what the Virgo archetype does. It's the sign of the harvest, okay? And so we're already talking about, a growth and an expansion that has been going on. And Virgo is also a sign of the healer. So this could be in regards to our own internal healing process that is going on as well. But we're talking about Virgo. We're talking about the sign of the harvest, the sign of the healer, the sign of growing things to their full potential and then being able to extract the value from that process of growth and that energy input. But then we're also talking about the position of the sun today being at that degree, specifically referencing the full moon, revealing the variety of full-grown vegetables. So there's something about the energy that is going on today for this full moon and over the course of this next couple weeks as this energy plays out that is, on several different facets, actually trying to give us a gauge on what we've been growing, what we've been cultivating, the things that we've been putting our energy into, where they're at now, and what we can reap from them as a result of that, this harvest type energy, this Jupiter expansion growth energy. And Jupiter opposite the moon as well, and in the loose conjunction to this full moon, wants to show us the truth of our processes and our progress right now. That is really, sort of how I'm summarizing an aspect of this energy, is wanting to show us our progress, the things that this healing process that we've been going on, like really showing us how far we've come. The full moon revealing this garden full of full-grown vegetables. Vegetables in this case could be a metaphor for anything that we've been cultivating and putting our energy into it, be it our own internal healing process or the projects that we've been working on and the things that we have been growing and cultivating and creating and fertilizing and conceiving right now, with Venus and Mars also having been in a conjunction this entire new moon cycle. So we have that going on. Now let's talk about the position of the moon today. We talked about the sun, talking about the full moon revealing this garden full of full-grown vegetables, revealing to us our harvest essentially at this time in one capacity or another. Now we have the earth and the moon. The earth is always in a polar opposition to the sun, and the moon is in a polar opposition to the sun today as well for this new moon, or for this full moon, sorry. So we are talking about 28 degrees of Virgo opposite 28 degrees of Pisces where the sun is. That Sabian symbol is a bald-headed man in uniform who has seized power. So when we put these two Sabian symbols in combination that are in effect for this full moon today, we're talking about revealing the progress of the things that we've been growing on one hand. And on the other hand, the moon, our emotions, our internal environment, we're talking about a seizure of power, taking power back in one way or another. So just off the bat, by the placement of the sun and the moon, the Sabian symbols in effect via their degrees, I feel like over this course of this next 2 weeks, there are going to be themes in regards to what we are cultivating, the progress that we are making in one form or another, juxtaposed to this internal seizure of our own power in one way or another. Now, when we extrapolate this to the world stage, this could have quite a different meaning. There could definitely be some power grabs going on, and we could really be sort of seeing like situations reaping the benefit or reaping what they've sown in one way or another. And I do feel like this could generally be a kind of rocky period that we have going on over this next couple weeks. There are some indications in this chart that are saying that there just may be a bit of like tension and aggression in the energy playing out. And with this power grab, seizure of power, bald-headed man in uniform who has seized power energy going on for the position of the moon, there could definitely be themes of power grabs and shifts in power dynamics going on throughout the course of this full moon cycle as well, both in our personal lives and on a collective world stage. So that's interesting. Let's talk about the aspects for a little bit, and then we will bring some more Sabian symbols back into the party. So first of all, we have this full moon that is happening, Virgo and Pisces. It is happening in a loose, also not as loose as with Jupiter, but a conjunction to Neptune, a conjunction in opposition to Neptune and Pisces. Now, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. Jupiter is also the ruler of Pisces. That is actually what makes this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction so rare and unique, is that it's happening in the sign of Pisces. And this hasn't happened since the very late 1800s. And there was really a spiritual renaissance that went on at that point in time. And we are heading in back towards another spiritual renaissance as a part of this great awakening and this transition and this shift of ages. That is actually one of the key energies that is going to be playing into 2022 as this year unfolds. However, we do have this full moon in the conjunction and the opposition to Neptune. It's a 4-degree orb, so it's not super tight, but it's close enough. We have Neptune at 24 degrees of Pisces right now, and this full moon sun opposition is happening at 28 degrees of Pisces and Virgo. And so also, another aspect of this, we also have Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, where this full moon is happening, where the moon is. Now, whenever we have a planet in a sign, we need to look to the ruler of that sign, because that also gives us more information about what is going on with whatever aspect is in effect. So we're talking about the full moon of Virgo, so we also need to pay attention to what is going on with Mercury. And Mercury is also in the sign of Pisces right now. So this is telling us with the full moon in the conjunction, the opposition to Neptune, and also Mercury, ruler of the moon, in a conjunction, in the sign of Neptune as well. This is really telling me that this is a very dreamy energy that we are likely to be in over this next couple of weeks. This is really telling me that energy over this next couple of weeks and for this full moon could have us questioning what is actually real. Neptune is a sign ruling like illusion and fantasy and delusion and confusion and sort of like rose-colored glasses and like pie in the sky type stuff like that. And the moon in Virgo, this is very practical and grounded and down to earth and very streamlined logical thought, except the planet ruling Virgo right now is also in Pisces, discharging these very dreamy, fantasy, imaginative energies. And so we really today, over this next couple weeks may be questioning, like, as I said, what is actually real, like what is actually going on. And also the practicality of our dreams, of the things that we're trying to manifest. Moon in Virgo can also be a bit more critical and judgmental energy. And we really don't want to be overly critical or judgmental in terms of our progress or our apparent progress at this point in time. Now, here's another dimension of sort of how I'm perceiving this energy. Now, this energy, this full moon is revealing these full-grown vegetables. It is trying to show us the state of our progress. However, with all of this Neptune energy, all of this illusion, and also it being the full moon, this is the garden being displayed at night under, when it's dark, and the light source that we're looking to is the moon. And a lot of times the moon can rule mystery and things not being exactly clear and being like hidden in some way or another. And so I'm kind of thinking like, what is actually being revealed to us at this particular point in time with this full moon? What we are seeing, this garden of full-grown vegetables that is being shown to us in this light as we're in the process of really taking back our internal sense of power, going through the self-empowerment process as well with the moon at that degree, is that the progress that is being shown to us at this point in time that we're seeing in this light of the moon, it may not actually be the true story. Things are not as they appear. at this point in time, in this energy, with all of this Neptune and Pisces energy, even though this energy is pushing to bring us truth and spiritual enlightenment and conscious awareness, it's more so of our own internal truths and the truths that we are realizing in terms of our connection and our purpose and our authenticity and our what gives us meaning in life. Like, those are the types of truths, like really truly what is good for us and what we want to pursue and what we want to align with going forward. It's this conscious spiritual awakening. It's not necessarily showing or projecting the truth of what is really happening in the world around us, which sounds probably weird and contradictory, but it's like there's the gap, the bridge, the veil between the worlds, the dimensions, the third dimension, the fifth dimension, like the physical reality and the spiritual reality is very, very thin right now. But there's like a time lapse between what we're seeing presented to us in this moment in our physical 3D reality in the light of the moon and what we might actually notice or realize is actually there in the light of the day. So even though we have a lot of energy talking about showing us our progress and our growth at this point in time, I do still feel like it's also saying to some extent that we're still not seeing the whole truth of it. Things are still not exactly as they appear. And we shouldn't be overly critical or overly judgmental or overly hard on ourselves if the progress that we're looking for is not being shown to us to the level or the extent that we were expecting or that we feel like we have put in the effort to reap at this point in time. But just because we're not seeing it doesn't mean that we don't actually already have it. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about this energy earlier. I was thinking of this example. Like, this is sort of how I'm perceiving it. It's like let's say like you have a job and you're starting something new, or you're trying to move into a new house, or you're trying to upgrade and better your life in some type of a way, and you sort of took a plunge and you invested in something, or you had the faith and this is what you're supposed to do, so you bought that new house, but things are not moving forward. You're still stuck at this job and you don't see how things are going to change for you. You don't see the abundance coming in that is truly coming in, and you're sort of like, what is going on at this moment? But what you don't know perhaps is that maybe like your boss or upper management or whatever has already had a conversation saying that they want to give you a promotion, but they need to wait until like the next quarter or something like that, and so they're not telling you about it yet. And so like you're thinking like, why isn't my manifestation working? I'm doing everything right. I've been visualizing. I've been doing the work. I've been acting my faith. Like, I took this leap of faith and, I don't, I'm just feeling a little bit down, or like my faith is shooken a little bit because I don't know. I don't see how this is going to work out. But the thing is, in that circumstance, in that situation, it actually already has worked out. You actually already do have that extra money. You actually already have that promotion. It's actually not a problem. You just don't see that yet or understand it yet because you haven't been given the full clarity. You haven't gained the additional information. You just don't know what's coming yet. And so even though you're sitting in that state and you may be feeling a little worried, this is also anxiety. This can also be ruled by the moon in Virgo. Like, what am I going to do? I don't understand why this isn't working right. The thing is, it actually is working right. It actually already has worked out. You actually already are in that place. You actually already have your manifestation. You just aren't like 3D aware of it yet because for whatever reason the time hasn't lined up and you just haven't been given that additional information that will change everything. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this energy. It's like it's lighting up for us, like the growth that we've made, the progress that we've made. However, we may still be lacking a critical piece of information that is prohibiting us from really truly seeing the full picture and maybe bringing up a bit of energy that's like shaking our faith in some way or another, because it's like, we've done everything and we just don't understand why it's not coming. But the thing is, it already actually has come. We just haven't gotten divine timing hasn't come into play for us to know that yet. So that's like sort of as just an example of kind of how I'm seeing this energy. And it could, again, have us questioning the practicality and the realism of the spiritual gains essentially that we've been making, the spiritual growth that we've been making. So I just want to put that out there with this Virgo moon and all this Pisces energy. All this Pisces energy really can create some type of like mass illusions, and Virgo moon can have a tendency of being just like worried and anxious and critical, and can be a little pessimistic sometimes. But I mean, there's a lot of very, very positive traits of Virgo energy. All signs have a higher and lower octave, but that just can be, you know, one of the more negative mercurial tendencies, being ruled by Mercury, Mercury also being in the sign of Pisces. So we can't lose faith in this energy, and we just have to keep in mind that just because maybe we aren't seeing it physically in our 3D experience at this moment doesn't mean that we don't actually already have it, and we need to continue to align with that as we move forward through this energy, and the pieces will fall into place. We are heading towards this new moon in Aries, which is also going to be very powerful and really kick off energetically this 2022 year. So good things coming. We've been going through a lot. Transformation is like really hot and heavy right now. We are realigning our vibrations so that we can attract and bring these things in. So we are in this healing process, and I feel like this moon is showing us our progress. However, it may not be showing us the full picture because it is still only the light of the moon. Next aspect I want to talk about for this full moon that we have going on today is the fact that it is going to be in a trine and a sextile 1 degree orb off. So this is actually a very tight activation to Pluto in Capricorn. So now, you know, once we bring the Pluto aspect in, this whole power taking back situation actually starts to make more sense. Pluto rules power in all of its forms, where we surrender and give our power away, and our own sense of internal self-empowerment, and the power that, you know, others hold over us, and the power that we hold over ourselves and our reality. It also rules death, rebirth, transformation, phoenix energy, big time going on. And these are actually positive aspects that we have. This is a trine and a sextile. The moon in Virgo will be forming the trine to Pluto in Capricorn. The sun in Pisces will be forming the sextile. So this is actually things more falling into place. This is us just inherently seizing onto this power within us and taking it back and standing back in our power and becoming more of the authority over our own lives. I really feel like that's another aspect of this energy that's going to be playing out over this month, the rest of this month. And it's not a surprise because, again, we had, for the new moon in Pisces, we had Venus and Mars in the conjunction to Pluto. And if you've been following my channel for any period of time, you know I've been talking about this aspect, that aspect having represented the re-empowerment of the human spirit through this reintegration of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within us, and the recalibration of our heart space and our will, and the desires and the passions reignited and fused together, really propelling us to this state of internal self-empowerment. It was in the conjunction to Pluto, slaying our demons, releasing ourselves from the toxic attachments of the past that have been keeping us out of the truth of our value within us. Venus and Mars together, that is bringing us on this and through this process of being able to fertilize and conceive and create within ourselves something that can really bring us some type of rewarding, successful, tangible, physical experience going forward that is in alignment with our authentic truth and the future that we're trying to create for ourselves. We have Pluto, again, in the aspect today to this full moon. So, you know, it makes sense that with that having been at play for the new moon, our seed planting time, for our full moon, that power would be just sort of inherently rising within us. A bald-headed man in uniform who has seized power. We are taking our power back from wherever we may have been surrendering it, and we are using it to fuel and power our growth and healing and our progress, our garden of vegetables going forward. So that is another aspect of this energy today. This energy is really showing us the depths of our own power, of this purge, this transformation, this regeneration, this internal transmutation of darker energies into the more purified, refined versions. Again, talking about refinement with the moon in Virgo forming the trine to Pluto in Capricorn, refining our own sense of self-empowerment and ability to control our experiences based on this sense of internal empowerment and the power also that it gives us over our mind and our thoughts and our ability to navigate in the reality that way as well, with this moon in Virgo being ruled by Mercury. Okay. Next thing that I want to talk about is the fact that we also have Neptune. Neptune changed degrees yesterday to 24 degrees of Pisces. This sets Neptune up in an exact trine and sextile to the south node of the moon and the north node of the moon. Now again, we're bringing an aspect of the past and the future, destiny and karma, where we're going and what we need to leave behind in order to get there, ruled by the north and the south nodes of the moon. In the trine and the sextile, the south node being at 24, the nodes also moved today from 25 to 24 degrees of their signs, Taurus and Scorpio. So just in time for this full moon today, this aspect actually sat up exact to the degree. The nodes moved today and Neptune moved yesterday to 24 degrees of their consecutive signs. So now we have exact trines and sextiles going on. The south node is at 25 or 24 degrees of Scorpio. Neptune is at 24 degrees of Pisces. That's an exact trine in water. We have the north node at 24 degrees of Taurus and Neptune at 24 degrees of Pisces. This is an exact sextile, skip a sign aspect between Taurus and Pisces. So we're talking about now this illusion being lifted, releasing illusions of the past so that we can imagine and envision the future that we want to build going forward, coming from a place of authentic truth. Neptune ruling illusions, Jupiter and the sun, also in Mercury, also in the sign of Pisces right now, helping us to, even though, things are not being presented totally clearly to us right now, helping us to dispel the illusions of our own mind and soul, apparently, at this point in time. And this is spiritually guiding us on how to move forward as well. On one aspect, it is release, the south node, releasing illusions, Neptune, of the past that have been holding us or keeping us held in any type of attachment to false beliefs or false perceptions that have been limiting our growth. Major theme of this energy that we have going on today. And moving forward, spiritual guidance, Neptune in the sign of Pisces, that higher connection, that spiritual truth helping us to move forward. So it's like we're gaining this spiritual awakening that is releasing us from illusion, belief systems where we've been holding ourselves up or tripping ourselves up based on our own false perceptions that we've been operating under, in and of the same extent, giving us direction and guidance on how to move forward in the sign of Taurus, to tap into our own internal authentic resources and cultivate our talents and cultivate our potential so we can build something physically, tangibly manifest in this world that can create and that can contribute to our financial well-being or our physical material abundance or the comforts and stability that we have in our lives. Second house, Taurus. So that energy is at play as well. Lots of release from past patterns, karmic loops, karmic cycles woven into this full moon energy. And it makes sense because, again, when we set up this energy for the new moon, this cycle, it was very much speaking about that as well. So what is on full exposure with this full moon? The things that we are growing out of, the state of our growth, the state of our progress, even though we may not be seeing the full picture of what is truly happening and what's coming next, we need to maintain our faith and not be overcritically in terms of ourselves. This is also helping us to take back our power, stand back in our power, and release past illusions. Now, let's talk about some of the other Sabian symbols that we have going on in effect for this full moon today. So, I've already spoken about the position of the sun and the moon today. And, just to summarize, once again, helping us to see our potential, illuminating what we've been growing in our lives or what we've been healing emotionally within us and what we can truly cultivate and grow when we take our power back. It's sort of showing us the state of things now and presenting to us perhaps as well what improvements or what increases or what additional growth can be made made if we take our power back. We have Mercury today, ruler of that moon, our full moon in Virgo, a woman wrapped in fox fur. And so this is telling me, you guys, especially in the context of that bald-headed man in uniform who has seized power, that degree can go a couple of ways. I am reading it personally for us as seizing back our own power, but there could definitely be power dynamics just shifting generally, power grabs going on, again, especially on that more collective level, on that more world stage level. And with Mercury at this degree, a woman wrapped in fox fur, reaping what we've sown could also be an aspect of this energy. Power grabs, shifts in power, and deception and trickery, things being sort of concealed or hidden or not truly presented for what they really are, with Mercury, ruler of that Virgo moon, at this degree. There could be quite a bit of just concealing of the truth of power actually going on right now. And again, this sort of kind of reminds me of that example that I gave, the truth of power. Now, this could go a multitude of different ways, but in terms of this example where we may be experiencing sort of a bit of a crisis in faith in terms of not being able to see the true harvest that we have reaped at this point in time, and questioning, where it's at, or if it's coming, or if we've just lost our mind and are like totally delusional, and, questioning what's real, or questioning like the practicality of what we're actually engaging in spiritually right now. It could be presenting things, again, just not as they truly are. Some aspect of this power being hidden, not being revealed to us, this manifestation that's coming to us at this point in time, just not seeing it for one reason or another as this energy plays out over this next couple weeks. But again, that doesn't mean that it's not already there. It just, we are dealing in high octave illusory energy right now. And, it can go there, like I said, it can go both ways. On one hand, it allows us to truly, really connect and manifest and align with higher spiritual truths and knowing and stuff like that. But on the other hand, it can have us really questioning the validity with this Virgo moon of the things that we are putting our faith or belief in at this point in time, if we are not seeing like grounded, practical, real, tangible results. So with Mercury at the woman wrapped in fox fur, while the Virgo moon ruled by Mercury is at that degree, there may be the truth of our power right now may also being concealed in terms of our thought process, in terms of our mind. For some reason, we can't think of, or we can't like wrap our mind around the power that we potentially have or something like that. But again, on the more collective level, this could definitely represent some shady business going on, a lot of trickery, deception, and real like power grabs. I don't know another way to say it, but that's just what I'm thinking could potentially be going on behind the scenes of things in the dark of the night, in the light of the moon, but the dark of the night in this full moon energy. We have Venus at 12 degrees of Aquarius today. People on a vast staircase graduated upwards. So again, coming off of that new moon where we had Venus and Mars in the conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn, and this was about restoring the sanctity of that heart space energy, recalibrating the collective heart of humanity. And now for this full moon, we have Venus talking about people on a vast staircase graduated upward. This to me is that heart energy coming back online. This rectification of the divine feminine within us really starting to activate, graduated upwards, an evolution and a transcendence in the heart-based frequency energy at this point in time, which is what we need. Because remember, honestly, at the end of the day, it all boils down to humanity gaining the ability to resonate with the frequency of unconditional love. Because the frequency of unconditional love, according to the laws of this dimension, of this paradigm, and definitely moving into the age of Aquarius, like attracts like, being able to have a humanity that is aligned with this proper heart-based frequency allows us to magnetically attract and create the same things in our external world, in our relationships, and in our environment around us. And that is really how the age of Aquarius, this new golden age, or even heaven on earth essentially is created, is through this like attract like vibration, and humanity one by one coming back online in terms of the heart space and being able to manifest and attract on an individual level, which then extrapolates outwards their own true fulfillment and abundance and beauty and peace in life. All of these receptivity, all of these divine feminine and divine masculine as well. Remember, this was divine feminine and divine masculine reintegrated together, but Venus has moved ahead at this point in time, and it really does come back to this unconditional love energy, and people on a vast staircase graduated upwards for this full moon. I do feel like this is talking about that this process is underway and we are elevating in terms of this heart-based frequency energy that is so critical and important at this point in time. We have Mars at 10 degrees of Aquarius. Venus and Mars are in a 2-degree orb conjunction now. They have moved part 2 degrees, but this is still a very close conjunction. That Sabian symbol is a man who had for a time become the embodiment of an ideal, is made to realize that as a person, he is not that ideal. And this is all about changing perspectives based on a maturation and an alignment with an authentic truth. It's like, and with Mars, this is our energy. This is our what is motivating us, what we're putting our energy into, what we're passionate about. And so this is telling me also that as a result of this reunification of this divine feminine, divine masculine energy, and this internal sense of self-empowerment, and this reactivated heart space and willpower energy coming back online and really fusing together our desires and our passions, motivating us and driving us now in the sign of Aquarius, talking about in alignment with that authenticity. I feel like this is saying that there is a change and a maturation going on right now in terms of the things that we're seeking after. I feel like we are collectively coming to a point where we are much less likely to be chasing the ideals of culture and society and the collective framework and like other people, and we are much more coming into a resonance with our authentic self and realizing that, you know, the things that we may have idealized in the past that took us down a certain road, caused us to act and behave in a certain way, are just really not in alignment with our own true priorities and our morals and our own ideals for ourselves and our lives. And we are shifting our action-based energy now in terms of realigning with what is authentic to us, instead of trying to embody the ideals of others that we have realized are just not necessarily that ideal when it comes to our own authentic truth. So I like this placement of Mars today as well. We have Jupiter changing degrees today, changing to 19 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is a master instructing his disciples. This makes me think about Christ consciousness, and with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces moving to conjunction with Neptune, while we also have Mercury in Pisces, we're talking about the sun in Pisces opposite the moon in Virgo today, in the aspects to Pluto and Neptune itself aspecting the nodes, Jupiter now moving to this degree. I do feel like, and Jupiter expands things, remember? I do feel like this is an expansion in Christ consciousness energy, this spiritual awakening, this elevation, people on a vast staircase graduated upwards, that is reactivating this human spirit and this human collective conscious morality or something like that, in some type of a way that is helping us to move forward in this shift and to break through these illusions and to be able to see the truth. This energy, it's so, like, I talk about these illusions, like they're just so heavy and so strong right now, but I keep feeling like with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces as well, that it's like for the purpose of making them so extreme and so grandiose that we crack through the illusions for ourselves. Because a lot of times, you know, when we're caught up in a belief system, when we're caught up in an understanding about something, or we're, you know, caught up in a mirage or an illusion of something, it doesn't really matter what anyone else says to us. Like, it has to be us that sees the fallacies in our own thinking in order to pull ourselves out of that. And I feel like that is really what this energy is doing for us, like trying to give us such a strong dose of like obvious and blatant illusion that we just no longer can continue to actually believe that this is truly real. And again, that brings us back to one of the themes of this energy, like questioning what's real, like what is real anymore for me. And that's another thing. It's trying to bring us a sense of our own authentic version of what is true and real for us in this energy. So we have Jupiter at that degree too, master instructing his disciples, an expansion of this Christ consciousness energy. I'm feeling like we have Saturn, 21 degrees of Aquarius, a woman disappointed and disillusioned, courageously facing a seemingly empty future. This might bring us back a little bit to these Virgo moon vibes and the opposition that we have going on right now. Can I truly make these dreams into reality, or am I just on some type of crazy pipe dream? Like, is this real? Like, is this a practical physical thing that I can actually do? I've jumped off this cliff on this leap of faith, and I've been, adhering to my internal guidance and the path that I've been feeling intuitively called on. And I've been doing a lot of work to healing and grow myself, but I don't necessarily see the outcome at this point in time that I was hoping to by now. And I'm starting to feel a little bit discouraged and disillusioned and disappointed, and maybe like there's just nothing for me and I'm just meant to be on this wheel running and never reaping the benefit of my harvest or something like that. Like that could definitely be coming up, with Saturn at this degree for this new moon with this Virgo energy, and potentially feeling like that anyways. So we just want to keep in mind, and we need to keep the faith. She is courageously facing a seemingly empty future. It's most likely actually not an empty future at all. Actually, in reality, in this energy, her future is completely full of fulfillment and love and abundance and joy. But she just hasn't been filled in yet. She just didn't get the memo yet. She just doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes right now, because it's the light of the moon and it's only really illuminating things in a way where we can't see the details and we can't see what's really happening, under the surface and behind the scenes. Just a very surface level illumination sort of going on. So we have that as well. We also have Uranus right now at 13 degrees of Taurus, a porter carrying a heavy mountain of baggage. This to me is representing that at this point in time with Uranus at this degree, it's sort of talking about universe actually taking our bags, taking our burden so that we can move unencumbered down this new path going forward to this age of Aquarius and make these energetic shifts. Uranus is the great awakener. And so we have a spiritual illumination, enlightenment going on, this infusion of Christ consciousness, but we also have a great awakening going on, being brought to us by Uranus and the entrance of the age of Aquarius. And at this degree, I feel like this is telling us that essentially, like, destiny or the hand of God or our burden is being lifted in one way or another so that we can make this energetic shift and move forward. And, maybe we haven't realized it yet. Maybe we don't understand it yet, but that is what is underway, and that has to be what is coming. We have Neptune having just moved to 24 degrees of Pisces, an inhabited island. Neptune in Pisces at this degree. I feel like this is speaking to spiritual resources, that we truly have everything inside of us that we need to create an ability to thrive and to be abundant and to have our needs met in our physical, tangible reality. And it is coming down from source. It is coming through our guidance. It is coming through our faith, and it is coming through our creative potential and our creative ability and our ability to tap into those resources and create, with it being in the sextile to the North Node in Taurus right now, as these illusions are being released of perhaps any sense of lack that we were holding inside of us that was causing us to surrender our power and not step into our truth and not tap that creative potential, being alleviated by Neptune in this aspect, I do believe. And at this degree, talking about the inhabited island, talking about the need to be resourceful in and of ourselves, to tap into our own creative potential, to see our value, and to release the illusions that we may have been operating under that have kept us from recognizing the truth of that value. And last but not least, as I said, we have the North Node and the South Node moving degrees today as well, transitioning to 24 degrees of Taurus, 24 degrees of Scorpio. Now, if you remember, back in sort of the beginning of this report, I was talking about how this could be a little bit of a more tricky and difficult, more aggressive energy that we may have coming at us over the next couple weeks. It's because we have the North Node moving to 24 Taurus, an Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging from his belt. And we have the South Node moving to 24 degrees of Scorpio. Crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. So this is telling me, you guys, sort of collectively right now, and just the trajectory and the unfolding, what needs to happen, the key that is turning right now in the collective energetic blueprint that needs to happen to move us forward. We are really feeling inspired to fight for our truth. And we are not really super concerned about perhaps like blood that is shed in the process, or, having to maybe. This is also really talking about taking back power and having to maybe slay some people or some situations. Metaphysically, take off some heads perhaps, or not metaphysically, metaphorically, I meant to say, maybe take off some heads. I don't know, but this is definitely talking about there being some type of enhanced aggression to defend ourselves, basically going on, or to show our power, or to show our strength. There's a lot of energy in this chart today in terms of the symbolism that is about seizing power and shows of strength. So it might honestly get a little messy, you guys, over this next couple weeks. I really like to keep it very positive and optimistic on this channel because I never feel like, just because of the way that the laws of this reality work, it doesn't ever behoove anyone to attach or to anticipate a more negative outcome of things. Because when we do that, we are actually working with that force. We're actually creating that. So that's really one reason why on my channel, in my work, I really always like to focus on the positive potentials of what could happen, because I, for one, definitely do not ever want to play any role in energetically adding to the negativity that's already going on and manifesting that through talking about it or anticipating it or, aligning with it. We can discuss things and we can be aware of things and we can know the potentials and the possibilities, but moving into the age of Aquarius, when our thoughts are so determining of our experiences and they're playing such a crucial role in what's actually happening for us, we cannot get caught up and we cannot anticipate and we cannot expect those more negative features and facets of the energy. But just to put it out there, just to say that is a possibility and a potential, things could get a little bit ugly over this next couple weeks, just globally on a world stage, on a collective level, just to keep in mind. However, there are a lot of positive and beautiful aspects of this energy, and we can turn this negative dynamic into a positive one by being inspired. The inspired man coming down, or the crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. We can use this inspiration that is being spoken of to fight for our truth and to fight for what is important for us and to stand in our power to do what's right and not to be, coercive or abusive or to use power in a negative way to get what we want. We can use it to heal, and we can use it to support our cause and our purpose, and we can use it to grow and create and to empower ourselves to, benefit the greater whole and the collective through our own personal transformation and our own personal contributions. But definitely what we don't want to be doing is seizing power or using power for just negative means, okay, with these energetics in effect. So that's what I basically have to say, you guys. Taking back our power, shows of strength, showing us gaining an understanding of our progress, of our harvest, with the simultaneous knowledge that we just may not be seeing the entire picture right now, and releasing ourselves from illusions of the past so that we can become free to recognize the truth of our value and really become empowered to create moving forward. So you guys, sorry, very long report today. I'm not doing the cards today because I talked for way too long about the astrology, but there's just a lot to say. This is our last Pisces energy that we have going on, the new moon in Aries. This is the very, very tail end of our 2021 astrological lunar year. We are kicking off a new year in 2 weeks when we start our new moon in Aries, and that is really going to be telling us, that energy is going to be telling us what we can expect throughout the course of this year and what's coming at us. So that's what I got for the energy, you guys. I hope you liked it. Again, sorry this was a longer video. If you stuck with me till the end, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you something to help navigate over this next couple of weeks. So if you like this video, you guys, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. Please leave me comments. I love your comments. I love your feedback. I love hearing what you have to say. I love knowing how the things in your life are corresponding to the energetics that we're talking about. You guys are amazing. Thank you so, so much. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, an Instagram, a TikTok, and a website if anybody is interested in that. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. This will be my report for the weekend. I'm not going to put out a video again until Monday, but come back with me on Monday because we're going to have a whole new week of astrology to talk about closing out this very tail end of this astrological lunar year as we move towards our new moon in Aries. So have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Enjoy this beautiful full moon, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.